This is the ultimate solos guide to Once Human. That means if you're playing completely by yourself and you just want to min-max the game, you don't want to waste any time building stupid bases or farming stupid objects that you honestly don't need, this is going to solve all of your fuel needs, your acid needs, all the way from start to end game. Let's get into it. So step number one is that you're going to be playing on a new server, not one that's been going on for a while. This will allow you to build up more on that later. And you're going to be playing on the PvE servers, not the PvP ones. Let me talk about the difference, okay? On a PvP server, it is just Sweatlord clans who are just alting and fighting themselves on alternate clans that are also their accounts. It's completely stupid. They glitch things under the map. They use the min-maxed PvP builds, which are not optimal for PvE, so they kind of have to run two builds. So running on a PvP server by yourself as a solo, there's no reason you can't compete. You're going to be behind. You're going to build up your Starcrom and your blueprints by playing on a PvE server instead, and you're going to be playing on the novice difficulty because even though the regular servers do give slightly more Starcrom, and the hard servers give even more, it's such a pain in the butt, and it becomes essentially impossible for the late game as a solo. It forces you to party up with people on the normal and hard mode servers, so just avoid them. Just play on novice difficulty. And if you've already done your run through novice difficulty, then why are you watching this? Like, go watch one of my other videos. But essentially, you want to pick the newest, freshest server you can. So to do that, you're going to click on the server name, and they'll usually, if they have like a red kind of icon here, this means you can't roll on it anyway without being invited. But if you click on this, what we care about is how long has the server been alive? Well, these two servers have been alive for 2 days. I would prefer to play on a server with only 1 day, but this will allow us to farm. We basically lose out on 3 controllers by starting on the second day. It's not a big deal. It's not a big loss. It just means 3 less chances at loot that we may need, but the game throws so many controllers at you that we're going to be able to get everything we need anyway. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick one of these new servers, and then you're going to confirm it and play on that server, and you'll have to make a character. But before you even begin, you need to have multiple Steam accounts. The second step, again, is to make at least 2 more Steam accounts. Just go to steamcommunity.com, sign up under a different email. You should have multiple emails as long as you're a seasoned internet user. You can use Gmail, ProtonMail, Yahoo, Hotmail, who cares? Just have different email accounts for those Steam accounts. The Steam accounts don't have to have purchases or anything on them. You can just make a Steam account, and then you already have the game downloaded, and then you just, whenever you launch the game on that new account, you have the same thing. You click the server, you make a character. Just make the character, skip the opening cutscene, and log out of it for now. That way you have your main account and 2 alt accounts. That's all you need. You can make more if you want, but you won't need them. Now, this one is entirely optional, but you should use a Chinese or a very odd charactered name. This will help you avoid being mass reported by clan dweebs who hate the fact that you have a nice cheap shop set up in Blackfell, which you shouldn't even be doing anyway because there's better ways to make money than that. Only for a few achievements if you want. Or if you started a Prime War and they found out that it was you that did it, they'll mass report you. And mass reports in this game get you automatically banned for about 3 to 7 days. So, for instance, the character that I'm playing is, let me just show you here. It's got some Chinese characters. I don't know what these mean. I don't know what they represent. But if a player sees the name and they're unable to run up to me, they can't report me. And yeah, they could try to take a screenshot or use AI to figure out what's going on. But chances are they're not going to be able to do it within a reasonable amount of time. And you won't be able to get mass reported. Because usually these clans, they have 50 people in Discord in a voice call. They're like, okay guys, everyone report them in 3, 2, 1, blam! And then you'll just see people get taken offline. It sucks. That's what a lot of games do. Unfortunately, this game does it too. So completely optional, but it allows you to avoid that fate. Alright, so step 3, blast your way through the tutorial. No reason to stop. You don't have to loot everything if you don't want to. Just play through the tutorial at your own pace. It's fine. Once you are out of the tutorial, there is a video you should follow. Let me show you on the screen now. It looks just like this. It is called the best early game weapon, highest DPS weapon, week 1, phase 1, top damage weapon to get. So just click down on all of my videos. You can open the description, and you'll find a link to the video under guides, so just check it out there. And with that said, come back to this part of this video once you follow that. Essentially, it gets you a super weapon that'll clear bosses super easily, quickly. It's going to set you up for really fast success for the early game. And I'm not just going to include it in this video because that would be duplicating videos. But essentially, yeah, just follow that video. It's going to set you up, and you're going to be able to, like, quickly speedrun bosses and get through the story. The next step is to get the Digby Boy Quest. Once you have gotten your motorcycle, if you follow that other guide, you should have the Wildfire Desert Eagle, and you should have your motorcycle allowing you to fast travel around. Once that's done, talk to Lo here. He is right here in the town of Deadsville, and you'll talk to him. So we're going to talk, and then he's got a few things that we can talk about here. He has 2 different quests you can pick up. We only care about the Digby Boy one, so we're going to talk to him about the Digby Boy, and that's going to put it on the map as Deviation Expert. We're definitely going to track that, and just do it whenever you have time. It's not priority right now, but you want to get it done at some point. So step 6 is you're going to learn the copper pickaxe, which is right here. I'm going to go ahead and throw that on my hotbar, and just kind of trash my crude one. You could salvage the crude one, but who cares? And then what you're going to do now is, here is Deadsville. You're going to go south and a little bit east. There's a bridge here. You're going to cross this bridge or this one. It doesn't really matter, just as long as you're south of Deadsville. And once you're there, just hit any tin node one time. So we're just going to hit this tin node, and we get a Digby Boy immediately. You will always get a Digby Boy the first time you do that. Also, if you see any silver nodes by chance while you're over here, go ahead and hit those too. But it's not really necessary. Just we're going to have 6 Digby Boys by the time we're done here. Also note, every time that you get a Digby Boy, either through the quest or the first time you hit the tin node, make an isolated securement unit and then put your Digby Boy inside of it. There we go. That way it will automatically start harvesting early, and we'll just stockpile goods. We won't have to spend as much time grinding on that. And then step 7 is to start your commission. So you're going to hold tab, you're going to summon V, talk to V, click view commissions, and then you're going to do really simple and easy ones like view in like 5 comments. That one's easy. Defeat deviants, that's easy. Making food this early, not easy. Gathering crops is easy later on. Building tin structures is easy. Heal yourself 5 times or smelt 50 ingots. We're going to smelt 50 of those, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to pick 1 more of these. I'm going to do the crop one, and now that we have these in progress, we have all week to do this, and so it's going to give us a bunch of XP, it's going to give us controllers, and some energy links. Step number 8 is go to the coordinates on the screen, 5,869, negative 5,304. To see coordinates, wherever you mouse over, you see in the bottom right corner some like numbers that are kind of changing. Whenever you mouse over an area, those are coordinates. So right here on the map, this is northwest of Deadsville. It's actually on the map now. It used to not be on the map. It's called Hales Moving House. You can do this once a week, and this gives a ton of acid. All you do is walk in the house, attack the crazy hands. The house is going to start moving around. And then what happens is whenever you kill these hands, 3 floating orbs is going to float around the house. And then you use your Q ability to find where they're hiding. And then you shoot or melee where they're hiding. So there's almost always going to be a floating orb in this portrait here. So I'm just going to slash it down with the machete. There we go, until the floating orb walks away. And then again, push Q and find the other one. So it looks like this table is one. There we go. And I'm just going to show you the full quest because some people might have difficulty with this. I'm just going to... Oh, it's the potted plant. Yeah, there we go. Alright, got him. Alright, and then the last one... Just keep pushing Q, and you'll eventually see the notification. It looks like the last one is, it's always random, by the way. It's always random, except for the portrait on the wall. That one's always the same. There we go. So we found the 3 orbs. It's going to give us a chest, and I want you to see just how much loot is in this chest. And you can do this every single week, and you're going to be doing this on your alt characters, too. That's why we rolled alts, partially. Check out this loot, okay? So we get 80 Stardust Source, not a big deal, but we get 210 Acid, alright, which you can trade between your characters. So 210 Acid, that is a massive Acid farm. That means we are getting 630 Acid per week, which is crazy, super duper crazy. And now, This house moves around week to week, but I've got every location. It's pretty easy to find. It does double back a few times. It actually becomes an even more convenient location later on, but let's continue. So right now, at this point, just continue the main story quest as normal. Now, if you are brand new to this game and you don't know what to do or where to go or how to play, this video that you're watching right now is a little bit more for people that know what they're doing but just want to play solo on a new server. For new players, please check out this video. It's called The Best Possible Start for New Players. This is going to really hold your hand and take you through the entire first week's main storyline. You can do this in under 2 hours. Just check it out, The Best Possible Start. Again, just open that description, and it is right there. It should be the first link under the guide section. Check it out. And if you don't think it can be done in under 2 hours, this is me getting all the way through the main story quest, getting tier 3 gear, everything in 1 hour and 54 minutes, okay? Now, I just want to point out, the whole reason I had you get this weapon is to make things easier, but also, nearly every single build in the entire game uses this as a secondary weapon, and the game's trying to teach me about armor. This weapon, the Desert Eagle Wildfire, is insanely powerful. Let me just show you the very first little mini-boss of the game here, which is going to pop up about right here. There we go. And just look at its health bar. Now, you try doing this boss, I mean, look at it. It's already, like, dying, okay? It didn't even get a chance to attack. That's how powerful this weapon is, okay? So if you want to fight this boss without this weapon, you know, you're going to do some rotations. It's going to shoot at you. You're going to have to take cover behind the truck. You're going to have to return fire. But I was able to blow that boss up in like a few seconds, okay? That's why I'm telling you to get it early and now. Now, the game is going to have you, during the main story, get, you know, operate or open or unlock rift anchors, which is what we did after that first boss. So if you want, every single area that you do a rift anchor in, and I'm just going to kill these mobs real quick so they don't slow down my recording. There we go. There was a fourth one. There's always a fourth one. All right, so what you can do is you can use a kind of a map website to show you where all the blueprints are. And I've done runs where I collect all the blueprints, but I'm going to show you just an example here. Let me just kill that. There we go. And there is these, they're called morphic crates, and they look just like this. They're glowing, they have like a red hue, and that'll give you weapon and armor blueprints. And man, I missed a lot of those shots. It's fine though, it's totally fine. But if you want to get all the blueprints and collect, you know, just to have the blueprints for collection regions, man, I can't talk tonight. Then do it as you unlock each and every rift anchor. That is the best and optimal way to do it. Otherwise, just get the ones you need. Now, while getting the rift anchors, that's when I'm going to go ahead and grab the Digby Boy Quest here. And all you need to do is give them some copper ore or ingots. Well, it used to be ingots. I guess it's just ore now. Another optional thing you can do while you're running around is you can try to find all of the morphic crates, which if I snap my fingers, there's a morphic crate there. Look at them run. And these things just give little rewards, like controllers and stuff, and, you know, just random things like gingerbread houses. But it's up to you if you want to do it or not, and hunting down the weapon crates early on, not really worth the squeeze either, or even killing these bosses. I mean, you can do it for fun if you want, but it's whatever. And then just jump. You might as well kill it, you know, make it a little cool moment in the video, but whatever. Like, doing this, though, these things don't really drop all that good loot. Just not a whole lot of reason to do it. Alright, so that's going to drop him down. Also the little guy here. There we go, take him out. You can see that it's no match for our super pistol here. Only we didn't have to reload so much. Alright, so that takes him out. The XP, not that much. And then the loot, not that much either. You can see here, again, 2 acid, 19 energy links, no thanks. Another thing, from now on, every time that you encounter one of these abandoned cars that's not near like a major city or like a big settlement area that's just kind of on an off-road, a lot of times you're going to find abandoned cars on the off-roads. You want to always loot the car trunks. Always be looting these. This is how you're going to get enough fuel within the first week of the game so that you never have to farm for oil, you never have to farm for fuel, you never have to do side missions or defense missions or anything ever for fuel the rest of your playthrough. Spend just a little bit of time, and there's a route I can go over maybe even later in this video or a separate video on the best route for the first week of the game in order to get as much fuel as possible. Now, another tip is a very good early game gunpowder and copper ingot farm is right here at the Monolith of Greed. So when you enter it, don't run or skip mobs. Kill absolutely everything around. Now, this server's pretty poppin' right now. So it looks like all the mobs here are dead, but make sure that you're just killing everything you come across, because gunpowder early on, super useful. Now, since we'll be using a pistol and later a sniper, we're not really hard up on ammo or anything, but just any, regular enemies like this, just kill them, and you'll see here that they drop gunpowder and copper ingots. Also, these bigger guys, they can't stand a chance against your weapon, so there we go. You can kill them too, even though they're technically not really, the most efficient thing to kill. But yes, kill all the humanoids, absolutely. And if you want to loot a few buildings, you absolutely can, though it's not necessary. Also, even though it is not quest required, I recommend you still get all the rift anchors in every zone, because they give Stardust Source and Stellar Planula very, very easily. Also, in Tier 2, 3, 4, and 5 zones, they give the crystals required for crafting, and it's free materials. You might as well do it. Also, a lot of people want to know, should they save their controllers? And if you really want to min-max, yes. However, this helps you out so damn much in the early game that I always use it, because it's just better for that early boost. Just having crit, but even though these are green mods, you're going to replace very quickly. The Stardust Swords, everything adds up. It's just a huge early game boost. You might as well do it. Just go, and you're going to have more than enough controllers for the 6 weeks that you play anyway. To be more optimal when doing the main story quest, for instance, it wants me to go to Myers Market, but instead, on the way to Myers Market, I'm going to pick up all these teleportation towers and all of these rift anchors, and I'm just going to knock it out now, so that when it wants me to do it later, it's already done. Now, when getting this rift anchor right here, which is the rift anchor High Banks in the, what is this area called? The High Banks, there is a stage, which I'm getting attacked right now, with the big balloon guy, and all you want to do is run up, and you absolutely want to get this. This will be your offhand support weapon, and this is the Sandstorm. Now, the way this works is you just swap to it. It gives you Fortress Warfare, which is a defense and offensive buff for 3 seconds. It's just a nice DPS boost. So I grabbed that, I crafted at Tier 1, I put it in my second weapon slot, and I'm going to use that all the way until Tier 5, and I might even use it at Tier 5 depending on the build that I am running. So always pick that up. Again, it is right here, like here's Deadsfield Southwest, and it's on the stage. You can't miss it, right in the middle of town. Also, this teleport tower that is just northwest of High Banks is the best place in the game for blueberries. There are so many blueberries in this area, and because one of my commissions is to harvest 20 freaking plants, I'm just going to go ahead and knock it out super duper quick. And these blueberries, it's not just this little area. No, it's like this whole area, and this whole area, and this whole area, and this whole area. It is like you can go from this teleport tower to this teleport tower, and the entire field is just lined with blueberries. There is so many blueberries that they will respawn before you double back and go and turn back around. See, like, a lot of these, are they already back? Did I even grab these? I don't know, but if you want to make blueberry sodas, if you want to fix your hydration, if you just want to have blueberries to craft and stuff, then this is the absolute place to do it. Also, it looks like they added some grape bushes in this area, so that's really nice for Phase 2, or Week 2, rather, because being able to craft a certain XP food is really, really nice for leveling up alt accounts. That's 3 grape bushes. Oh yeah, they added a bunch of grape bushes, so this area is really nice for grapes. There might be a better place for grapes, I don't know, but now this is the next best spot, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat of them to do. Now, this is optional, but if once you make it to Myers Market, go west to the coordinates on the screen, and you're going to see a humongously large tree in the sky, maybe. If not, go to Myers Market, change worlds, and come back to this tree. And this tree, by chopping it down, might give you a Fetch-a-Lot bunny. So this thing is absolutely something that you should come and chop every time you're near Myers Market. You might get it, you might not, and you can't use a chainsaw. You gotta use a pickaxe. So let's see if we get it. It only happens when it chops down, to my knowledge. So, again, you won't always get it, but let's see if we do. And none this time. Now, if you want, you can actually run back to town, swap worlds, and continue back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, until you get it to drop. And it's just a little bunny that just gathers for you, essentially. Now, it doesn't gather anything too good, but having, 3 or 4 of these going at a time, it just helps out. Okay, well, I managed to get one in the middle of chopping the tree, and so you don't have to fully fell it, but you might as well if you're already chopping it anyway. Oh, by the way, if you're ever out exploring and you see this building, this is an underground bunker. These things are amazing for loot, and I personally want you to tell me every location of these in the game. I only knew of 2, but now there's a 3rd one, and I know there's more than that. I just haven't fully explored the game. So this one is located right down in here, all right? And now this account hasn't explored everything, but this one is the first one you get introduced to in the story, the Murmurs in the Forest quest, which you go to that one anyway. The only other one that I know of is all the way, it's like kind of up here, about right where my arrow is. And these things are amazing for loot. I wish I could find these in tier 4 and 5 zones. This one is unfortunately in a tier 2 zone, but still, it's really good to know the locations of these for loot, especially if you want early, I believe it's morel? No, I'm sorry, peppercorn. Peppercorn, these things have a very high chance of getting you peppercorn seeds. Now, it hasn't really been discussed in any videos that I've seen for this game, but certain loot crates have different loot. Like this cabinet here, again, nothing too good, just basically plastic, but this one here, I believe, is a food cabinet. So it says metal cabinet with drawers. So yeah, this has food in it. So this is how you can get early rare seeds, especially in a tier 4 and 5 zone. This can have morel seeds. And then in the bathroom here, there should be another food cabinet as well. Not that one, but this one is normally, yeah, storage cabinet. So again, this has food in it. So that's how you get morel and peppercorn, because I know a lot of people want to find that stuff. Now, another thing that you can do too is open the shop here by clicking the Stardust Advent or whatever this is kind of in the middle. Click shop at the top, click other. Then right here, you have a weekly Mitsuko's Mark box for 1 energy link. What a deal. You can buy this once a week. Make sure that you buy it. And there you go. Another random fun tip is if your build uses aloe vera, there is a hidden aloe right here, which I don't think you're supposed to get until week 2. But for whatever reason, it's right here. So just west of the Securement Silo PHI it's like right here. Like here's the road. Like, there's the silo, here's the road, about middle of the road to the left, there is an aloe vera. I don't know why, but if you want to start growing these early and get the seeds early before week 2, this is the only place I've ever found them in week 1. One other thing that you should be doing at all times is anytime you open the map and there is a red exclamation point here, you need to do 3 of these a day to get controllers and cortexes. And you need to be doing at least 40 cortexes every single week. So again, just do 3 of these. And I don't recommend that you start doing these until you're fully geared. Now, I've already completed the main story, waiting for the second phase. I've got everything calibrated up all the way. As you can see here, I'll just go ahead and show you here. I can basically 2-shot the mobs. They are no threat at all. I deal insane amounts of damage. Everything here in this encounter is completely trivial. Also, we can see that it's a giant thing underneath. That's really neat whenever you bullseye it. But yeah, you can see here the encounter's super duper easy. I'll go over the gear in a sec. So if you watch the fastest start vid and the best early weapon vid, which I highly recommend that you do, this is kind of what you're looking at here. You got just the wildfire. And the best overall armor just in phase 1, week 1 that's free is the agent set. I know wearing all 6 pieces doesn't really give you any set bonuses, so if you want to mix the scout set or anything else, you can. I just got lazy and I just wanted something that gave a bunch of HP and defense and stuff, and so I just crafted the whole agent set, put it on. Everything's calibrated all the way, and some people are saying don't calibrate stuff all the way. That's wrong. Whenever you salvage this bad boy, you get most of your Stardust back. You get most of it back. You are not going to be short on Stardust Source ever unless you're making like 3 separate sets on the second week. If you're not using alts, if you're not playing the game at all, you're going to be short, of course. But if you play smartly and you use alts, this is no problem. You never have to farm for these. You never have to make water pumps for these. You'll have more than enough to upgrade everything once you hit tier 5. And most importantly, by upgrading your tier 3 set, you will be able to skip from tier 3 straight to tier 5. And by farming now in week 1 with a max calibrated weapon and armor, it just makes farming that much faster, more efficient, and easier. You're going to be saving more time by upgrading. Don't be stingy, spend it. Now, this is about 4 to 5 hours of playtime. Let me show you the progress so far, completely solo. No help, no parties, no warband, no clan, no hive, no using the alts yet. Here's what we've got going on. So you can see here, we just have, this is like all the garbage ammo. I'm probably just going to disassemble this later. 488 acid. 200 of this was from the Crazy Hands house. The other is just from killing mobs, going through the main story quest, and getting rewards. Then we have just a basic garage to repair the motorbike. No upgrades yet, but that would be the next thing I would want to do. Here's, you know, all the disassembled materials, which I could disassemble a tiny bit more because I just did one of those little random missions. There we go. And then I just open this up and then just push one button, put it all in there. Very quick. Got a synthesis bench so that we can get level 2 Cortexes. You only ever want to use level 2 Cortexes on week 1. Never, ever, ever do a level 1 Cortex. Just don't. Alright, this is just seeds. Not a big deal. No rare seeds yet. I'm a seed collector in case I want to grow crops. This is food that I want to decay into spoiled food. So I have, you know, I'm just cooking the meat so I get experience points here. I've got 8 spoiled foods already. I'm cooking all this green crap just so it'll spoil a little bit of water. Got some blueberry sodas from earlier that I talked about. Found a few deviated saffron. Got some pork here. Should probably cook that pork up. But hey, we have the electric stove. Now, the fridge is the stuff that I want to keep. The stuff that I want to use later. Like anything that I can make with teas, I'm going to keep all of that to use to level alt characters like saffron and coneflower and honeysuckle. And if you've watched a video of mine, let me show you real quick. This video right here is the best place that you can possibly grind in week 1, phase 1 of the game. This will make you 500,000 energy links per hour, assuming you have at least one alt character. Because you cap out at 250,000 on the first week, or second week rather, actually, due to the vendors. It's 150,000 on week 1, so 300k an hour with 1 alt, or 450k an hour with 2 alts, which we're starting with 2 alts. But after week 2 and beyond, it is 500k an hour, you know, to empty out the vendors, and you can increase this if you have more alts, but you don't need that many energy links. You never need that many energy links. You'll have enough to teleport around, upgrade everything, and buy all the Star Crom crates at the end of week 6. Or at the start of week 6, whatever you prefer. So yeah, just check out this video. Again, the link is in the description. Just open that bad boy. It's right in here. How to farm 500k energy links an hour. Go check it out. A few other things too, just showing progress. I am level 25 currently. If you want to look at my cradle mods here, this is what I'm using. Nothing special. And let me tell you, like I didn't go and clear every single zone, but what I did do is I got every single teleport tower, and I got every single rift anchor. Very important to do those two, and that's going to eat up a lot of your time. Is just doing that. So just do it casually. Just do it, you know, in your free time. I did about 11 runs of the first silo Sigma, because I wanted to get a mod, and it took me 11 runs to get it, and that is the Flame Resonator Talents mod. But also, just having those mods, you can see that I have them on all of my armor pieces here. These just help early game, and you may be thinking that 11 controllers is a lot. It's not. I still have like 33, and this is the first day to spend, and I can just hold on to those. You know, I get 3 more tomorrow, 3 more the next day. I'm going to get like 30, 40 more on the second week. You get so many controllers, it's insane. So don't be afraid to spin controllers, right? I also spent some on Silo PHI. Yeah, this one right here, PHI. I ran this one time, got the mod I needed, so there you go. I've spent 12 controllers so far. That's about it. What else do we have here? Oh, the Mimetics. So basic Mimetics, I go to infrastructure. I basically get You know, the required 2 here, smelting, disassembly, go all the way down. I don't get fuel refinery. Don't get this. You don't need this. You don't need to be pumping oil. Yes, I know you can do it in week 1. You don't need it. It's a complete waste of time. Even with alts, even in a guild, you don't need to do this, okay? I get electro refining, of course, and I will at some point get chainsaw, but I don't need wood for quite a while unless I want to build something, which I'm not going to do a lot of building this time around. I don't get anything on the right side, and, you know, all this is locked. So under crafting, you know, I go straight down, get ammo, ammo 2, all the way to intermediate. I don't get rocket launchers. I do not need this in Prime Wars. Let the clannies take care of it. Let the little clan dorks handle all the rockets and the cannons and stuff. So I don't bother. I got ammunition 2 because, you know, advanced is logged. I don't craft HP recovery items. You loot more than enough in places that you go. You'll never burn through all your heals, especially if you're smart and you're using this guy on week 1 right here, because he just heals you and restores sanity and gives you damage. You're kind of dumb if you're not using that on week 1, unless you have a very niche build. So the rest of crafting here, you absolutely need to get synthesis bench so that you can make level 2 Cortexes. Intermediate tools and gear is also mandatory to upgrade your tools. And then, I don't get the HP recovery or anything else in week 1. And you don't need scout drones, explosives, or Stardust Shield Wall. You don't need any of that crap. They suck. The DPS is awful. Just skip that. Now, under logistics, I go all the way down for stoves, dishes, air drying, dishes to electric stoves. I don't get vending machine because I don't need to sell anything until like week 4 or 5. And I'm just going to sell it to myself later, but I don't need it now, because there's no point to do it now. I'm just going to sell items to myself in, you know, just exchange energy links by selling logs at 1,000 each or something to my alts so I can get that done. I do get solar generator because you really want to have some kind of power. Electrical kit because I'm just going to continue down this line later, so I might as well just get it now. Wish machine, we got that earlier so we can get the weapon at the very start of the game. Refrigeration so that I can keep the herbs and teas refrigerated all week long to sell, especially at the start of week 2, so I can double dip onto that. Securement unit expansion lets you get more Digby boys, always a good sign. I'm not going to be doing any planting, but if you did, I do have a video on that for week 1 and week 2. If you want to do that for your build, you know, to increase your DPS or whatever, feel free to put into these. I'm going to skip it for now. I might do some later. Now, next up is building. So for building, this is what I go with. Wooden support because you have to do this. Basic storage because you're going to need storage. Unless you luck out and you get the Mimetic where you get a 64 storage box. I wish I got that, but I did not. Garage, mandatory for the story progression. I go all the way down from wooden support, just straight down to stone support, because you want stone buildings for when you're doing the defense missions on your base, and I'll talk about that in just a bit. I do not get territory expansion. The reason I don't, I made a whole video about the best possible base you can use to defend for your Cortexes. The reason I don't get this is because it makes the defense mission easier. I also, on the right side, I get basic defense, I get test dummy because I love to check my DPS on builds. Defense traps is mandatory so we can get auto turrets. Auto turrets aren't really all that useful in week 1, but you don't really have anything else to build, and if you have alts, you might as well just surround your spawn points with your alts bases lined with turrets just to make things AFKable if you want, or easier if you want. They did fix AFKing, though. You have to tag the mobs manually now before the turrets kill them, or they won't drop any acid, so that sucks. But you can still do the Cortex mission completely AFK if you want. Next up, it's important for you to determine when you have your base set up. This isn't the base that I would have set up for actually doing a defense mission. I've made a video on that. You can just look in the description. I don't need to show every single one of them. But if you don't want to make a super hyper defensive base, this is what I recommend. You use 4 stone columns, a stone ceiling with a box with your resonator inside, and just a few flame traps for melees. It's whatever. You should be more than strong enough to take these on. Again, this is just for week 1 on a novice server. If you're on a hard mode server, you're going to need more than this. But anyway, as long as you put just one of these bad boys in, so I'm just going to put in 1 because we need to figure out where they spawn in. You still get the same amount of star crom as if you put, 1 in at a time or all 40 at once. But we're just determining where the spawns are. There will be 3 separate spawn points, and you gotta, you know, figure out where that comes from. So we have a spawn point. Let me just take these guys out. They spawned, it looks like, directly north. And, yeah, the flame traps didn't even burn anybody. So that was a spawn facing north, alright? You can see here, you know, I have a very small outline on the base. It looks like we got more spawning north. So right now, it looks like that might be the only spawn, but I'm not sure yet, right? So because we know where they spawn, we would line this whole area with turrets, and the turrets would mow them down the second that they appear. Because again, this is my build border. They used to spawn in the corners, but I think they patched it. So again, we have now northwest. North and northwest are our current spawn points. Where it also, you know, doesn't look like anything else is spawning around. We just got to make sure to take a look. Also, while this is going on, if you want, you can always just kind of build a stone wall. You know, put one right up top there. It's being difficult for me right now. Yeah, there we go. So I could just do it like that. There we go. And that will protect it from taking any damage if you want to get that achievement where it takes no damage. Now, northeast is the 3rd spawn point. So now I have my spawn points. I have north, northeast, and northwest. So they are not spawning anywhere over here anymore. Now, again, that could have been changed, but now that I know the spawn points, I know where to set up my turrets. And of course, once you're done, all you have to do is remove the wall. There we go. And collect your cortexes. Now, obviously doing 40 of these would make it slightly more difficult, but if you have turrets set up, if you have alt bases like here, here, and here, all with turrets facing inward, the enemies can't do anything because you have, like, you know, 3 to 4 bases worth of turrets just mowing them down as soon as they come into existence. Obviously, this is not the best base location, but it does work, and having raised foundations kind of makes it a little harder for the melees to climb up if they're high enough. These, unfortunately, weren't. There's a whole lot of base stuff you can do. I got it covered in another video. Go watch that one if you want to learn more. Now, there's plenty to do. You could set up, you know, planters, rather. If you want to do the multiple stove method to AFK level your way to 50, that's totally fine. You could grind up all the teas and all the herbs while grinding that one location from that video I showed earlier that shows you how to make 500,000 energy links an hour. That will level your alts almost, not exactly as quickly as the salt AFK method, but it's still a way to level your alts so you can get more mimetics and get better, you know, crafting like rolls and stuff if you want to really just collect them all or go min-max mode. And that also gets you the cortexes so that you can solo this without a group effort and collect 40 of those before the week is over. There's so much you can do. Every time, you know, the silos refresh or the areas that you farm, that's more disassembly loot for you that you can just stack up, and you'll never have to farm low-level zones once you're in Tier 5 to craft, you know, lesser buildings or materials ever again. Now, also remember, every time you open your map, you look for one of those public crisis events. There's not one going on here in this world, so I'm going to switch to World 4 because someone said there's one going on there. And when I open the map, there's the dark side again. So I can go run this again, get my second controller, keep switching worlds. That's why I built a base next to a teleport tower, so I can farm this way more efficiently. And it looks like someone's already kind of chipping away at this, but yeah, they're clearly not using the meta weapons right now. I guess they're still new. This is a novice server after all, but yeah, I'm going to farm another controller. Now, another thing that you can do is stock up on boiled water and pure water during week 1, so you don't have to fuss with it during weeks 2 through 6, so you can knock that out of the way. You can go no further. You can also start working on your alts, log into those alt characters, and get them to at least the Crazy Hands house to get that 200 acid. It's really annoying for me to gather water on the border, I suppose. But yeah, just get your alts right over here to the Hales moving house. You know, clear that for you'll have 420 plus more acid. Just from that, you can also run them through the story, or at least get those Digby boys. It's up to you what you want to do. So, in week 1, you're going to use 40 level 2 cortexes, and in weeks 2 through 6, you're going to use 40 level 3s. You're not going to use anything less than level 3 after the first week. And I did record my base fully automatic here. You can see I've got 20 turrets set up. And the way it works is, essentially, the mobs spawn here, they spawn here in the street, and they might spawn up here. And the turrets pretty much just massacre and destroy absolutely everything. So yeah, good stuff there. But essentially, I just did 37 star crom because I did some solos earlier. But here we go. This is the results. You can see here 3,145. That's 85 times 37. And that's my weekly limit, completely soloable. This is the first day that I've been playing. This is literally, I logged in, I made my character, and I am already this progressed in like 6 to 8 hours, I believe I've been playing for. It does not take a lot of time to get this set up and going, and then once you've done your Cortexes, yeah, you have to grind like 30 minutes to an hour to get the Cortexes, but I have a video on that. That's that 500k an hour video I linked earlier, so again, you gotta check out the other videos. But after that, you're basically all set. At this point, I have literally nothing left to do. I have to wait 2 more hours for silos to reset, but I've already farmed both silos for materials. You can see here that I've got plenty of metals. I've got plenty. I don't have too much, but I've got an okay amount of stuff. You know, I don't need to make the base any bigger. I'm a solo player. I don't need a massive mansion that doesn't really serve a purpose to do anything. I've got plenty of raw materials here. I haven't even used alts yet, and I have almost 900 acid, and each alt is 210 to 230 more acid. Right, now, you will note that that my Stardust source here is a little bit down, but it's not that bad, because once I disassemble my gear set when I have tier 5, I'm going to get a lot of that back, and you're going to get a whole bunch doing the main story quest in week 2. Also, if you decide to do a few hours and do the main story quest on your alts, that's another 2,000 to 3,000 each on the Stardust source for your alt characters that you can give to your main character if you want. I tend to not need that much Stardust source, but there is almost nothing left to do on my main unless I just want to grind out level 40, but I've got, you know, like 6 more days of the server until week 2 starts. All you need to do is be level 40 by the time week 2 starts, and then you will be able to wear your tier 5 gear immediately upon equipping it. So, again, not too much left to do, really, and now I can just get on alts and work on them if I want. I can have them, you know, set up a planter base or a water purification base if I want. Or I can just go AFK down the stream, you know, scooping up salt water or dirty water and then turning it into boiled or salt, whatever. You can see here that I've got a stash for boiled water. I've got a stash here for salt. So I've been kind of doing it 1-to-1, but that's an AFK method if I have other things to do, like chores. If I have to, you know, like do dishes, go out somewhere, maybe I want to go out to eat, which I can't afford to do that, but, you know, maybe once or twice every, like, year, I guess, I might have enough extra money if I get lucky on a YouTube video. Like, if this video does well, probably won't. I mean, this game's already aging out. But, essentially, there's not much left to do in week 1. You can plan out your builds. You just get a, you know, a notepad, you look up everything, and I've got a few builds that I can recommend to you if you want. This build right here, the best solo free build for all content, tanking infinitely shoots. This is the build I would always use because it lets me solo Leah Labs on Novice. I believe it's the same difficulty even on the hard servers because it's technically a pro difficulty, you know, instance anyway. But that is the build I would use. Again, this is the, you know, it's holding hands with Mitsuko. I think you officially beat the game when you hold her hand, but whatever. Again, come down here to the guide section and check out that video. And it is a Frost Vortex build. It heals you. You can shoot forever. You are super tanky with huge amounts of damage reduction. It's cheap. It's literally, it doesn't cost any star crom. You can put a little bit of star crom into it to get a little bit of a DPS or a tank boost, whichever you prefer. But other than that, if you're looking for other actual Star Crom build recommendations, I'm going to tell you right now, they're all pretty much around 140k to 200k DPS fully buffed in a party. It doesn't really matter what you pick, it's just whatever you prefer. Just do note that some bosses are either immune to elements, and some enemies don't have extra limbs, so that means you can't use shrapnel builds if the enemy has no limbs, like eggs. There's also a few other enemies that just don't have limbs. And then, you know, boss is immune to elemental damage. You're going to have to do something like Fast Gunner, maybe Fortress Warfare builds. Those are pretty fun. I'm actually going to be trying a Fast Gunner build here on the next season, so I'll see how that goes. But doing all the calculations and all the math, almost every build when you min-max it with the proper mods, 140k DPS on average, you know, if you're solo, that is. And, yeah, if you like bossing, you definitely want to go with, like, a bingo build. If you're PvP, you want to go with a Jaws build. you know, the explodey pistol that drops the unstable bomber, and those usually work really well for PvP. But other than that, you know, I wouldn't really count too much on the PvP servers because, again, people aimbot and people alt to the point where entire guilds are just fighting themselves on alts. It's super silly, and they have a way to go underneath the map, which I don't really care to learn how to do since it doesn't serve a purpose for my playstyle. So week 2 and beyond is pretty simple. You just do the exact same freaking thing. You can upgrade your turrets to tier 3 if you want. It's whatever. You can upgrade your stone to cement if you don't get the mimetic perk. You essentially go through the main story quest once again. You farm aluminum and tungsten, which you will need acid to make those into bars, which every week, that Crazy Hands house, like I showed you earlier, will give you plenty of acid, and your ults will give you plenty of acid. And you can always go out and just kill mobs and get like 5 to 8 acid per kill. It's really easy to get acid. You don't need to sit there and pump oil for freaking 4 weeks. You don't need to mine a bunch of sulfur and then pay energy links to transfer it into these guys. Look, I did a test, a 6-week-long test where we had 4 bases of these things going, pumping acid 24/7, round the clock. It took hours and hours of mining sulfur. You know how much acid we ended up with at the end of the 6 weeks? We had about 20,000 acid. All right, so if I can get 600 a week as a solo player with 2 alts, like that's 3,600 acid in 6 weeks, which we didn't use any of that acid. We like we maybe used 1,000 to 2,000 of that between 2 players. Yeah, 2 players. We only used like 2,000 acid in total, and we were building, you know, like every little thing and trying out multiple different builds and, you know, leveling up a whole bunch of crap. But if you have a for sure fire build that you want to, you know, run, and you're a solo player, you don't even really need the alts. They're just there as insurance, so you have extra acid. You don't need to do any of this stupid acid farming bullcrap. That's for guilds. That's for groups of players where they want one sorry, you know, loser to do all the dirty work so that they can go out and, you know, do all the fun stuff in the game. But as a solo player, you just use the Crazy Hands house. You just use alts. You're good to go. Easy. Also, for Prime Wars, you don't need to contribute at all to those things like you think you do. Simply show up with your build, wait for the clannies to break the boss's shield, and then just spam your attack on it, and you'll get all 3 crates if the guild, you know, did their proper turret rotations. Again, most of your rating is based on how fast the entire group kills the boss. And yes, if you were to build turrets and help and build, you know, bio missiles, sure, you would kill it slightly faster, but that's not your duty as a solo player. It's the clan's duty, the people that, you know, join up in a warband, the people that suck each other's toes in a Discord server. It's their job to do the Prime Wars, and you leech off of it by just helping, you know, DPS down the ads or the boss themselves. The only other responsibility you really have week to week is doing your Cortexes, which you can absolutely solo, and I wish I had the footage, but I accidentally had my mic muted, and so I don't want to do 4 minutes or 5 minutes of complete dead air. That would ruin the video. I'm quite the yapper, you see. I have to be talking constantly in all of my shots. That's what people do. That's why they subscribe. That's why they watch me, because they want to sit there and grind out some MMO while I'm yapping in the background in their ear, and they love it, and I love it, and I hate that there's not more YouTubers like me to listen to and watch myself. But yeah, that's basically it. There's not a lot more to cover. Let me just go over, you know, weeks 2 for your mimetics, basically. As a solo player, you don't even need alloy pickaxes, but you do need tungsten ingots, so you kind of have to pick it up anyway. But you don't need the tungsten pickaxes, just get your drills. And you don't need a solar drill. Don't go shill out for a solar drill. Who gives a shit? Just use regular drills. You're not going to be doing that much mining anymore anyway. Don't use the logging or mining platforms. They're absolute crap and garbage. You can just use a basic chainsaw. You don't have to get the advanced chainsaw. It's really not that much better at all. Like, it's unnoticeable, and you don't even really need wood in the late game anyway. For crafting, obviously, you have to get all the ammunitions and the advanced workbench and advanced tools. You don't need advanced synthesis bench. Well, actually, you might have to get this for level 3 Cortex. I think you do have to get this. Never mind. But you don't need any of this other advanced spectrum generators or anything, or improved drones. They suck. You don't even need the advanced recovery at all. So, and you're going to have more than enough mimetic points, even if you don't collect, you know, any of the deviations. So for logistics, if you want more advanced water purifiers, you can, but if you take care of it in week 1, you don't need it. As far as electricity goes, just having more electricity lets you just be more efficient with a single base, but you have alts, so you don't even need to do that. I almost never bother upgrading power unless I'm making a very specialized base. You definitely want to get dishes 3 and 4 for your food buffs and money. Again, I have a video that explains how Stardust Energy Drink is amazing and easy to make for money. Don't even bother with the growing stuff unless you're growing things, and don't bother with animal taming at all. And then for building, you definitely want to get the enhanced supports and the enhanced stuff. And if you want to make a creative building, sure, go for it. You can also, go for the higher, better turrets. You don't need to get the close defense turrets, because that's a clan man's job. Let the clannies handle that crap. You can also get the bigger garage so you can make a truck and you control with the truck, or, I like to just block off towns and ram people's crap and use it. You can also have a truck with turrets on it, and the turrets will help you on your territory defense. But other than that, you don't need vehicle charms. They actually make your vehicle slower, and that's the whole point of a vehicle, in my opinion. That's more of a PvP server kind of thing. There's really not a lot left to do, honestly. Your mimetics are mostly completed. As far as upgrades, you don't need to make acid, you don't need to make stardust source, you don't need to make oil or fuel. Those are all garbage. I like the ones that give you better power options, smelting options, disassembly options, base defense options. Those are all really, really good. But whatever you prefer to do, if you want to be like a crop grower guy, then pick all the crop growing ones if they show up. If not, you have alts for that. If they don't get it, then re-roll them until you do. I don't know what else more to say, but being a solo in this game, it's the simplest, easiest life. It's easy to set up. Like, all of this I did in like 8 hours. This is 8 hours, and we're done on already on week 1, we're done. I log in, I can just get my 3 controllers, wait till week 2, do the week 2 stuff, get that done in 4 hours. It's actually faster, once I have everything set up. Then log in, get the controllers, farm whatever builds I need, do the Prime Wars, buy, whatever build I want to play this season with Starcrom, and then by the time week 6 rolls around, I can continue on a normal or hard server, and then try out a different build, or continue trying to improve the build that I picked. But other than that, that's basically it. Thank you so much. Mwah. Thanks for watching. Leave a like before you go. Leave a comment. I read every comment because I have no life and no friends or family, and yes, that is a fact. Finally, on the right side of your screen is a video you should absolutely watch, and if you don't click it, then if you do have a pet, they're going to be extra annoying in 2.5 days from now.